Hey guys, it's me Giuseppe, and today I'm at Spirit Halloween in Rochester, Michigan. Let's go inside and do a tour. Alright, so starting off inside the store right here, we have the Crypt Countess animatronic that's new for this year, so I'm going to turn her on. Give me your soul, so that I may shine in darkness. Feel the warmth, feel the basket as you join into the eternal rest.
It's too late to hide. You don't even have time to scream.
Wow, that was a super cool animatronic. She was really tall in real life. I saw her in videos, but I didn't realize how tall she actually was. Let's move on to the next thing. Alright, so right here we have another new animatronic for this year. It's Jack the Reaper. He's the Spirit Halloween mascot, and he always has been. And it's super cool that this year they finally made an animatronic of him. And he's like Nibbles the clown from last year. He follows wherever you go. So I'll show you that now.
The Reaper. I make the skies turn orange. The wind howls.
There's a sign right there, in case you didn't know, that said, "Feel like you're being watched." I have motion tracking sensor technology. But he's really tall in real life, but he's a super cool animatronic. But yeah, so let's move on to the next thing. Alright, so now we're going to be walking through the Madison Scare Park archway, which is super cool. And so starting off right here, we have the newspaper thingy that shows the mutant sewer rat, which is another cool animatronic that we're going to be seeing pretty soon. And then over here is the shaking tombstone, which does not look like it's working, because since I've been here, I haven't seen it move once. But next we're going to be going up to Bullseye the Clown. Alright, so coming up right here, we have Bullseye the Clown animatronic. He is like a clown target knife throwing circus act kind of animatronic. And as you can see, it shows he got hit in his eye and he has all kinds of other scratches. But most of the time it hits the board. But anyways, I'm going to get him going and show you guys how he works. He is a pretty popular animatronic, and he's also really cool in real life. He's also absolutely huge in real life as well. Like, I saw his box, and it's ginormous. And, like, when you look at him, like, his head is also giant. And his hands are even bigger. Like, these are his hands. If you see him in real life, you'll know what I'm saying. But he was super cool. Let's move on to the next animatronic. So right here, we have Valak the Nun. And we also have this creepy looking raccoon that had half of its torso bitten off. The Valak is $299. And we also have these foam brick props all over the ISC. But anyways, let's turn her on. She's super cool. She's a jump scare prop, kind of like Emmeline from 2023. And I don't even know how this brick is still there, because I don't know if you guys could see it, but when she launched forward, she absolutely launched that brick forward. But anyways, let's move on to the next thing. So right here is the Madison Scare Park subway train. Right here we got a broken window where you can see all the cool animatronics right there. And then we got Jack the Reaper and like a little glass bubble thingy behind some chains. Here's a watch your step sign. This is the front of the chain. And there's also some graffiti right there, but this is super cool. It's a lot bigger than the Fun House last year, I'll tell you that, from what I'm seeing. But let's move on to the next animatronic. Alright, so right here, she is kind of inconveniently placed because there's a giant pole here, but that's okay. It's Backbend Bonnie. She's kind of a reskin from Broken Spine Girl, which was a old Spirit Halloween animatronic, but let's turn her on. She does have a different, like, she moves a lot different than Broken Spine Girl, so, like, it's not a reskin, but it's still kind of similar, if you know what I mean. Most of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, but she's a really cool animatronic. If you like her, I do recommend getting her, because she is pretty cool. But yeah, let's move on to monkey business. So right here we have one of this year's cool clown animatronics. If you can guess why his name is Monkey Business, you'll see in a second. The box says just for you. He's super cool and he's also very tall and big in real life. But let's turn him on and get jump scared. Oh, he's whistling. He's super cool with the monkey jumping out of the box. And also, even in real life, the monkey is also giant, but that's super cool. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, so right here we have the Spirit Halloween 2025 Fire Demon, and he is huge. And he's like a burning nether realm type demon, and he's kind of like, what was his name? I forget. The guy in 2023. I'll have to look him up in a little bit. But he reveals his face with the cloaks of his hands. Let's see him. So he's super cool. He probably looks cooler in the dark with the fire-looking light inside of his head, but let's move on to the next thing. All right, so right here is the 2025 long-awaited giant squid game, red light, green light, young Hida. And I'm gonna be showing you guys how she works, and I'm gonna play red light, green light myself because I believe it does detect you when you move, and it works like it does in the actual show. So I'm gonna do that real quick, so let's go see it.
We'll be playing red light, green light. You are allowed to move forward when it shouts out green light. Stop when it shouts red light. If your movement is detected afterward, you will be eliminated. Green light. Red light.
Was still really cool. It'd be awesome for you to have it in your yard on Halloween. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, so right here we have the jumping spider, which has been at Spirit Halloween since like forever. It's a very classic animatronic. Let's turn him on. It's a basic jump scare animatronic, but it's still super cool. I believe it costs $99. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the night owl. All right, so right here we have the 6-foot night owl. So let's turn him on. He's gonna look pretty cool. He's pretty cool. His wingspan is huge. I have to back up pretty far to record him because of how giant he is. But it would have been cool if they had his mouth move, just because, like, I believe he is pretty expensive. So for what he is pretty cool. He's 6 feet tall, not the size of a normal owl, but is absolutely giant. So right here we have Trick or Treat Pete, and so Butterfinger is the official sponsor of Spirit Halloween. So there are Butterfingers in his bowl, but you can use him with any candy. You put the candy in the top of his hat, and when you turn him on, he spits it out of his mouth. He's a static animatronic, meaning he doesn't move, but he is really cool with the fact that he does spit out the candy for trick-or-treaters on Halloween, and also he is pretty tall, so let's turn him on. He isn't doing anything. They do have fake Butterfingers in his bowl, but usually he does spit out candy. Everywhere I've seen him, he does spit out Butterfingers just because that's Spirit Halloween's official sponsor. But he is pretty quick, but I think he spits out a lot at a time. It is a lot shorter than the videos I've seen, but he's still pretty cool. Alright, let's move on to the next thing. Alright, right here I have Sinister Strawman. He is one of the many Mr. Dark reskins. Mr. Dark was like a skeleton with a black cloak. Now this guy is the coolest considering he has multiple voice lines unlike all the other ones. He's $329, which I believe is the price of most of these guys. They start off pretty short like this and they launch up in the air to like 7 or 8 feet, I forget. But let's turn him on. Oh no, this guy goes to 9 5'5", so almost 10 feet tall. Well, let's turn him on. And he is working.
Much more than you.
Wow, he's super cool. He's really tall like all of them. Towering Tallulah last year was also really cool. But Sinister Strawman has got to be my favorite out of all the reskins, considering he has multiple voice lines. And I also like scarecrows. But let's move on to the Twisted Grandma, shall we? I'll let him go down first. Alright, right here we have Twisted Grandma. She's on a motion sensor as she was going when I was recording Sinister Strawman, but let's turn her on. Oh. Now is she not turning on? Oh, I guess she wasn't on a motion sensor. I accidentally stepped on her step pad. She's really cool. She's pretty popular from this year. It's a cool jump scare animatronic, and then they got a rat and a giant fly right there next to her feet. But she's super cool. Let's move on to the next animatronic. Right here we have Headcase Harry, the two-headed clown with candy in his hand and a knife in the other. He's super cool. Every year we get an animatronic where you get a special step pad. Instead of a step pad, it's usually a button or sometimes a door knocker. Or last year was the carnival coin thingy. But let's turn him on with the in case of emergency subway push button.
You have a beautiful head.
He's super cool with the two heads and the blood all over him. That's a good addition to him.
And let's carve up some fun this time. Our treats are crafted from your darkest nightmares.
Alright, he was super cool. Now I'm going to be going inside the subway train. Alright, so right here we're in the cockpit of the subway. There's this lever which I'll be pulling in a minute. There's also this phone, and then there's also like ISC things. These are like the rat props and stuff, and then this is all the other things. Right here you can see Young Hee Squid Game doll. She costs $700. And all the control panel costs $50. Like this area, the cockpit. But that's super cool. Now I'm going to show you what this lever does. Real quick right here first, there is a map. You can take a picture of this. It is the route for all the, for the subway, and it has lots of names of many various animatronics. But anyways, right here I'm going to be pulling this lever, which is really cool because the floor, I believe, vibrates, but let's test it out. Yeah, the floor is vibrating. That's super cool. And then right here we also have a phone, which if you press one of these three buttons, I've tried it out, it says different things about like you should run or don't go to Madison Square Park, which I wonder why. Maybe because all these guys are here. But it's super cool. It's really quiet, so you guys cannot hear it on the camera, of course. But if you come to Spirit Halloween in real life, be sure to click all three of these buttons and see all the voice lines. It's super cool, but I'm going to move to the animatronics in this subway. So right here we have the scary sitting scarecrow who also has Butterfingers in his bowl. It's a cool addition that all the candy props, they put fake Butterfingers in their bowls for this year. But I believe if you sit next to him, he activates. Which, is that true? I believe so. However, it's not working due to him not being on. I believe maybe his batteries ran out because I believe he is a battery-powered animatronic. But these seats are real seats. They're like really cushioned and they're honestly pretty comfortable. But let's move on to Electrifying Corpse. My bad, I meant to say Electrified Corpse, but let's turn him on. super cool. Now, I have to mention, there are some sponsors up here, which I didn't realize. There's Kill Zone, all-purpose pest control, probably to kill that guy. There's also another route showing where the train is going to be going in the cockpit. There's also the Terror Nursery, which is for the horror babies that they do sell here. And then over here, it says missing person, Betty Sharp. Then it shows a phone number, which Betty Sharp is an animatronic from 2022. But I wonder what happens if you actually call that phone number. If you want to try it, you can. But I'm going to be moving on to the mutant sewer rat. Alright, right here we got the mutant sewer rat, so I'm going to turn him on. He is pretty short compared to all the other guys, but he is a lot bigger than I thought he would look in real life. Alright, he was super cool. We got more of those foam cinder blocks and bricks, and we also got the hanging rat props right there. And then we also got the electrifying things that we've seen at Spirit Halloween before, but I believe they aren't on. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. This was a pretty much perfect store. They had all the animatronics on display, which is usually hard to find. I feel like this year I've been seeing most stores are pretty good. But thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for lots of more Halloween tours. Bye!